I got thy letter last night, Eliza, on my return from Lord Bathurst's, where I dined, and where I was heard, as I talked of thee for an hour without intermission, with so much pleasure and attention that the good old lord toasted your health 3 several times. And though he is now in his 85th year, says he hopes to live long enough to be introduced as a friend to my fair Indian disciple, and to see her eclipse all other nabobesses as much in wealth as she already does in exterior, and what is far better, in interior merit. I hope so too. This nobleman is an old friend of mine. You know he was always the protector of men of wit and genius, and had those of the last century, Addison, Steele, Pope, Swift, Prior, etc., etc., always at his table. The manner in which his notice of me began was singular, as it was polite. He came up to me one day, as I was at the Princess of Wales's court. "I want to know you, Mr. Sterne, but it is fit you should also know who it is that wishes this pleasure. You have heard," continued he, "of an old Lord Bathurst, of whom your Popes and Swifts have sung and spoken so much. I have lived my life with geniuses of that cast, but have survived them, and despairing ever to find their equals, 'tis some years since I closed my accounts and shut up my books, and thoughts of never opening them again. But you have kindled a desire in me to open them once more before I die, which I now do. So go home and dine with me. This nobleman, I say, is a prodigy, for at 85 he has all the wit and promptness of a man of 30, a disposition to be pleased and a power to please others beyond whatever I knew, added to which a man of learning, courtesy and feeling. He heard me talk of thee, Eliza, with uncommon satisfaction, for there was only a third person, and of sensibility, with us, and a most sentimental afternoon, till 9 o'clock have we passed. But thou, Eliza, was the star that conducted and enlightened the discourse, and when I talked not of thee, still didst thou fill my mind, and warm every thought I uttered, for I am not ashamed to acknowledge I greatly miss thee. Best of all good girls, the sufferings I have sustained all night on account of thine, Eliza, are beyond my power of words. Assuredly does heaven give strength proportioned to the weight he lays upon us. Thou hast been bowed down, my child, with every burthen that sorrow of heart and pain of body could inflict on a poor being, and still thou tellst me that thou art beginning to get ease, thy fever gone, thy sickness, the pain in thy side vanishing also. May every evil so vanish that thwarts Eliza's happiness or but awakens her fears for a moment. Fear nothing, my dear, hope everything, and the balm of this passion will shed its influence on thy health, and make thee enjoy a spring of youth and cheerfulness more than thou hast hardly yet tasted. And so thou hast fixed thy Brahmin's portrait over thy writing desk, and will consult in it all doubts and difficulties. Grateful good girl. Yorick smiles contentedly over all thou dost. His picture does not do justice to his own complacency. Thy sweet little plan and distribution of thy time, how worthy of thee. Indeed, Eliza, thou leavest one nothing to direct thee in, thou leavest me nothing to require, nothing to ask, but a continuance of that conduct which won my esteem and has made me thy friend for ever. May the roses come quick back to thy cheek, and the rubies to thy lips. But trust my declaration, Eliza, that thy husband, if he is the good-feeling man I wish him, will press thee to him with more honest warmth and affection, and kiss thy pale, poor, dejected face with more transport than he would able to do in the best bloom of all thy beauty. And so he ought. I pity him. He must have strange feelings if he knows not the value of such a creature as thou art. I am glad Miss Light goes with you. She may relieve you from many anxious moments. I am glad, too, that your shipmates are friendly beings. You could least dispense with what is contrary to thine own nature, which is soft and gentle, Eliza. It would civilize savages. Though pity were it, thou shouldst be tainted with the office. How canst thou make apologies for thy last letter? 'Tis most delicious to me, for the very reasons you excuse it. Write to me, my child, only such Let them speak the easy cheerfulness of a heart that opens itself anyhow and everyhow to a man you ought to esteem and trust. Such, Eliza, I write to thee, and so I should ever live with thee most artlessly, most affectionately, if Providence permitted thy residence in the same section of the globe. For I am all that honour and inclination can make me. Thy Brahmin.